Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And going into the new season, one of the big questions is Scump going to stick around after this year? Is he going to go for the second year of Modern Warfare 2? And if he does, there's probably a tryout game on the horizon. Shotzzy reckons that Scump's just one of the best teammates he's ever had, such a sponge to new information. But also, if they do well this year, OpTic Texas, he reckons that Scump for sure will stick around for at least one more season. Very much enjoy your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that one. Firstly, just a quick update here on the whole Microsoft versus Sony drama, because Microsoft are trying to confirm that, yeah, they can buy Activision Blizzard. There's nothing bad about that. Sony don't want that to happen. And of course, Sony have said, you know what, we don't want this. If Microsoft are going to get control of Call of Duty, they're going to make it so that they get all the advantages. And it's like, hang on a second, Sony, you have literally been doing this for years. And even Microsoft come back and say, yeah, this is literally what Sony have been doing with their current partnership. So, you know, basically just trying to say to the CMA, which I think is the Competition and Markets Authority in the UK, and they're trying to, well, Microsoft are trying to make the claim that this is absolutely fine to approve this one, and Sony do seem a bit hypocritical. They're not really making a particularly good case, I think, to prevent this acquisition. Maybe, well, maybe they make some inroads, but it's still going on. Quickly, there's some Donny Temp as well. Pre-order live now, he says. Just wanted to shout this out because we saw some of the merch from Don back at, well, we saw most recently, I think, was it Killer was wearing it, right? Back at, the Black Ops 2 Throwback, of course, just a few days ago. But yeah, here we go. First ever merch drop. This is, I thought was pretty funny. All orders come with an autographed card, right? So as you can see here on the kind of on the graphic that he made, well, maybe he didn't make this, right? But each order comes with a signed 4x6 Make It Rain card, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. So yeah, here we go. The t-shirts. He reckons they're pretty high quality. I know that some of the pros have been getting them already, so I just thought it was good. And the design is actually really nice. I mean, look at this guy. So I just thought I'd shout this out. Thought it was pretty cool. Pre-order for a couple of days, and then it's available, shipped by November the 4th, or whatever's going on there. And speaking of temp, actually, number 17, we looked yesterday at number 20, I think was Methods. Slasher was 19th. CleanX was 18th. 17th is Temp of the Las Vegas Legion. And, I mean, yeah, he went on to say some interesting things here in the replies. These were his overall numbers. Some great numbers this season, right? And honestly, I think, like, he should take 17th because, like, yeah, he was a great player this past season on a team that was absolutely terrible. So it's very difficult, really, to consider how good Temp actually was in the grand scheme of things, how much credit you give him to their performances, right? Because, okay, yeah, you drop a 1.2, but you lose every series. How much does that matter? And yeah, he had a 1.09 hardpoint KD against the top 3 teams. That's one of the cool things about these graphics, actually. You can see some interesting statistics. For example, KDs at each particular event. His best one was the Stage 2 Major with a 1.16, only went negative at the kickoff, and a Stage 4 Major, of course, wasn't able to attend the World Championship. But yeah, I mean, look at these highlights. Gavutu hardpoint KD at 1.43, Stage 2 Search and Destroy KD at 1.2, Gavutu Control 1.21, and then hardpoint KD against the top 3 teams at 1.09. That is pretty impressive stuff from Don, and even as he says here, 17th with the worst record in history. I'll take it. If I go, you know, 500, right, if he breaks even in the records, he's a top 3 player in the game. That at least is what he reckons. So I thought that was pretty funny. And this quickly here from the Los Angeles Thieves guys as well, as Kenny says, excited for the season. Can't wait to be back on stage with the boys. Can't wait for you to run an AR, says Octane. So I wonder if we will ever see in COD history again Kenny return to the AR, because don't get me wrong, I think Kenny can run an AR very effectively. I think he was actually really impactful with it when he used it briefly, well, even the last couple of seasons, but certainly, well, the Maddox in Black Ops 4, but also even the Krig back in Cold War. I think he was great on that role, but it's like, is that where he's best utilized? Clearly not, with what we saw at the end of last season. Putting him back on the SMG, he goes back-to-back MVP, Stage 4 and the World Championship. So yeah, I wonder if Jacob and the boys are ever going to put him back on an AR, but yeah, he made the decision once to make the switch, and obviously since switching back, it's been rather successful for him. And just this from iLLeY then, as we dive into the OpTic stuff. So kind of crazy really, because iLLeY's now 21. Like, I remember it seems not long ago when he joined Dallas Empire when he was just 18, but yeah, now he's 21. Gonna make this year my best, he says. So exciting prospects. I hope that iLLeY's good to go this season. I honestly do think in terms of like what happens with this OpTic team going forward, and even what Shotzzy's gonna say on Scump here in a second, like a lot of it comes down to the iLLeY situation, because they obviously, as we've said many times, they can't afford the iLLeY thumb issue to recur, and you know, he hasn't really been tweeting about it. We don't really know what's going on there, whether he's had any further surgeries or any further discussions with different you know, doctors or whatever to try and figure out whether there's going to be an issue going forward, whether it's fully solved now, because we even saw Rambo say potentially, or maybe it was even Shotzzy that said at the final event of the season, the World Championship, he was playing through a certain degree of pain. The thumb wasn't fully 100%. He was just dealing with it and still in fairness played very well. But obviously as Call of Duty fans, we don't want to see that going forwards because we want iLLeY to be back at full 100% capacity. We don't want any further players having any issues because even Sib, I think, had talked about some sort of carpal tunnel syndrome. We saw Alex on Minnesota Rokkr had to step out a little bit with a thumb injury. Of course, we've seen that with Zoomer in the past as well with his wrist, right? So yeah, it's a difficult situation, but hopefully iLLeY's good to go. And I think he needs to be if this team wants to be successful because, as we've said, they were going to make the change. They were going to drop iLLeY, potentially put Scump on the flex. Hydra might have come in. Cammy might have been there as the AR instead of Dashy. There was all this going on. They decided, you know what, it's not worth it. Let's just run it back as a team. And iLLeY is such a crucial component to that success. We even saw last season when he did step out, what they missed in terms of leadership characteristics was very much evident, right? And we even saw them talk about that a lot after the season, that yeah, like even after coming back with iLLeY in the team, we lost our groove a little bit with iLLeY, and that was one of the reasons why they struggled at the end of the season, right? So look, if iLLeY's all good to go and everything's fine, this team should be back in business. Before the iLLeY thing happened, they were, well, one of the best teams, if not, well, for a time they certainly were the best team in the entire game around that Major 1 time. And that's the question really that Shotzzy is raising here. What is exactly going to happen after this season? Praising Scump as well for his teammate and his attributes as a teammate, really saying how he's just a sponge of information. When they talk to him about stuff, like he takes it on board very quickly and improves very rapidly indeed. But obviously Scump doesn't quite have those leadership characteristics that other veterans have, therefore they need a guy like iLLeY on the team to make that work. But he's also asked the question about how long Scump's career is going to be from here, saying that, you know what, if OpTic do well this season, he reckons Scump's going to stick around.
Very first time that I saw him, you know, he comes up to the Dallas office, so we're there. I'm just waiting, you know, I get there to do the content, and then you just see him and Brandon get up or like walk towards like our room that we used to play in, and then he was like, "Hey, dude, what's up?" And then, yeah, and then that's like our first interaction. I was just laughing just because like Seth is just funny, like just the way he talks is just like he's funny. But yeah.
So were you nervous? Were you kind of just like?
I was just so like
you're probably just stoked.
I was like excited that like this is all even like I'm joining OpTic. I'm teaming with Brendan, Inder, Seth, like more on OpTic. Like it was just such a cool moment, honestly. I definitely didn't know how he was gonna be as like a teammate. In terms of effort and like passion, he has it. And, like he's there every single time early. He's always doing like what he needs to do. You know, he's like hardly.
He's kind of like that.
He's just like a sponge. He's literally a sponge. You tell him anything, he's doing it. I'm glad to see him competing again too.
How much longer do you think he has to play? Because I don't think the world is prepared for that statement to come out.
If he enjoys this, because like this game that we're playing, it's 2 years. Because like every other COD is 1 year after 1 year after 1 year, but this game is 2 years of competing. So if he enjoys it and like, you know, we find success as a team, then I feel like he'll play next year.
So Scump has obviously still got it, like that is very clear, and he's going to retire at some point or another. The question is how soon. Scump has also made the point that this season they need to make sure there are new maps and new weapons and changes from year 1 to year 2 of Modern Warfare 2, because if there aren't, the game is going to get very stale very quickly. And honestly, like given the fact that Scump and the guys have committed so hard to this OpTic team, if it doesn't work out, if things go wrong early on, will Scump in his head just be like, you know what, I've had enough of all this drama, it might just be time for me to call it a day? Like they've really got to hope this team works out for the season. I think it certainly can work out for the season, but the iLLeY thumb thing definitely has a large, part to play in that if it recurs. As it stands, we really don't have any further information or ideas on that, but iLLeY at least seems confident in that tweet we saw a couple of seconds ago. So that's the real question around Scump going forwards. But also, if you ask Scump, does it matter what year you retire on necessarily? Just because, let's say he played 1 year of Modern Warfare 2, and in fairness, there's all that talk the last few years about the fact that, okay, Karma retired in Modern Warfare 1, after Cold War it was Formal, after Vanguard it was Crimsex, you know, like every year one member of the dynasty is retired. That's one part to play. But also, like, if I'm Scump, I mean, maybe this is just me talking as a Treyarch fanboy basically, but look, at the end of the day, if you're doing your 1 year and things are still going okay, you had a decent season, you play 1 more year, and then it's like, well damn, the Treyarch game is here for at least 1 or 2 years, right? So do you want to miss out on that? It's a little bit difficult, and then Advanced Warfare 2 drops, but Scump's going to retire sometime in the next, 3 years, you would imagine, but we've been saying that for quite some time now. But Shotzzy certainly believes that it really does come down to performance of that OpTic team this season. If things go badly wrong, Scump's going to be like, you know what, I've kind of had enough of this and all the stresses and dramas, trials and tribulations, time to bring it to an end if they're not really bringing home too much silverware, and Scump would prefer to bring home, well, some different type of silverware, either at some Black Ops 2 throwback tournaments like this, or just in terms of just pure Twitch contract numbers that would absolutely be flying through if he becomes like a kind of Tarek type streamer in a way for the Call of Duty Duty scene, which of course will happen after he retires as well. So yeah, that's the big question to me. And also it's the thing with Clayster as well. That's the way I look at the Clay situation. It's just like, well, Clay probably knows this is the final year or two you would think of his career. And if that team just completely implodes, right, and they don't get on next season, Vegas Legion, they have no success, is Clay going to want to stick by it? Or is he just going to be like, you know what, I've had enough of this. I'm at the twilight of my career anyway. It's time to call it a day and get rid of these stresses. Like, I wonder if a similar thought process could go through Scump if the team doesn't perform. But of course, the team could well still perform, and they will be one of the key favourites for the season, albeit there is still some question marks around that roster that definitely need to be resolved, and other teams around them have tried to upgrade, and OpTic have, you know, stayed the same. Not saying there was a clear upgrade out there, I don't really think there was, but still other teams have tried to make some moves. OpTic have stuck the same, and of course we'll go on to see what that means. Now, speaking of that Black Ops 2 throwback tourney from Hitch, he was actually asking the question, is it possible to do another game? Is there anything else that's viable? Aix reckons Modern Warfare 2 original from 2009 could be done, but apparently that game is a real issue in private matches. He says like stuff wasn't even unlocked in private matches, and kind of Aix was wondering how could you even play stuff in private matches back then, and he reckons that okay, we played on PS3, can't imagine it makes a difference, had to sign into a live account, and even Karma says if the other game modes were fixed on Modern Warfare 2 we played, it was so good, but apparently those third-party apps have issues. So yeah, I don't know. Black Ops 2, people wanted to get back to Modern Warfare 2 as well. Those have been some fun throwback tournaments that Hitch has done in the past as well. But even Rambo went on to say here, because Aix asked him, like, you know, what do we do at the National Championships? I don't think we played online at LAN, but I could be wrong. And Ray says, yeah, indeed, they did play online at LAN. So this is a thing that nowadays even happens on the PC, is that you can't really have a proper LAN connection. You just have to play online at a LAN environment. They were doing the same way back in the day for LAN, a COD 4 Nats, and even Modern Warfare 2 National Championships, not because the game and the consoles couldn't do it, they could, but because the game was broken, I think, so you didn't get things unlocked on LAN. So a bit of a mess, probably means that you can't really do a Modern Warfare 2 LAN, unfortunately. So Black Ops 2 is probably the only option for now, unless they do Ghost, or, you know, I'd love to see Black Ops 1, personally. I thought that game was fantastic. I know Hitch absolutely hates it, so that's not going to happen. But yeah, maybe Black Ops 3 as well could be an option. I would certainly like to see that, as I'm sure you guys full well know. And just to say this quickly, because Doug was getting roasted last night, he gets this DM clearly from this guy Mark, or this Venmo thing, and he says, hey Doug, pretty much just given up, work 6 days a week, live alone in my apartment, etc. Like, you know, keep up being #1, stuff like this. And he just completely blasted him on Twitter, right? Don't be like Mark, asking for handouts equals lazy, downside apartments are something cheaper so you don't live above your means. So, I don't know, Doug's kind of going hard. Now, in fairness, I think he went on to say that this guy was a bot account, right? Which I think is probably true. I'm sure Doug gets a lot of requests like this, probably from accounts that might not necessarily be legitimate. It's kind of tough to tell, probably. Like, I'm guessing Doug has more experience with this than some others do, but yeah, I'm guessing he knows that this is probably like a scam account or whatever, not a real guy, because I imagine these scams exist an awful lot when stuff like this happens, and you get, well, DMs like this. But I thought Doug's tweet was kind of funny here. He ends up going on to delete it and then says, sorry, I forgot we live in 2022 and people are sensitive, I'll get better. To be clear, the account is a spam account. I get these requests all the time from fake accounts. No world would I take a real person and blast them like that. So, you know, good stuff from Doug, if of course what he's saying is absolutely accurate. And just to say this before we close out, because I shouted out Don's thing earlier, wanted to mention this as well. Cellium's doing a giveaway. There are, I believe, a lot of retweets on this already, so it's going to be difficult to win. But yeah, a free Paradox PC, I believe, yeah, winner selected November the 1st. So you've got a good few days to enter if you would like to. But very much enjoyed your thoughts on all this in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.